Hi there, welcome to Insight Consulting. I'm Krisnan and I'm really happy to have with me today Lisa Gale.
Hi, Krisnan.
It's really good to have you.
It's my pleasure.
Lisa is the Director of LEG Development Services. She's also the Managing Consultant of Lisa Gale Consulting.
That's right.
And we met some months ago as part of the leadership team of this movement called EQ Barbados, yes, dealing with emotional intelligence. And we've struck a very nice friendship. And I think that I wanted to have you on because there's a lot to Lisa Gale. There's a lot to what you have been involved in over the last few years. And most importantly, probably not importantly, but significantly to me is also you're a Comerian.
Indeed.
But I'd like to share a little bit more about what you do, Lisa, and in the consulting, in the international consulting, etc.
Okay. So I am managing consultant of Lisa Gale Consulting, which is a regional firm. We service Barbados and the Caribbean, and specifically the CARICOM region. One of my largest projects, I'm currently working with the Caribbean Development Bank under the Caribbean Growth Forum, servicing 12 Caribbean countries, trying to improve growth and to bring more reforms, or to get countries that have identified the reforms to facilitate and to bring the reforms to full fruition. I do a lot of coaching with both personal and professional coaching. We do a lot of training and development, and we are international trade and management consulting. Those are the two main arms for which the company we have.
Okay. Now, as I actually didn't speak about it in a lot of the stuff and interviews that I've done before, but of course, most persons that have come across my material already would also know that we have in common our coaching hats.
Yes.
It's leadership, also personal and professional coaching. What I'd like to know a little bit more about the international trade aspect and the leadership aspect. What is that like? It seems so complex. It seems so official. It's international. So tell a little about it.
So leadership generally is how you not necessarily control, but how you influence an organization. I always say there's a difference between leadership and management, whereas management is how you take the resources and properly apply them for the betterment of the entity. And this is across family, any structure. So leadership and management are two different things. International trade now, how countries trade between each other and the different policies. I'm an international trade policy master's student or graduate. And out of that, we learned a whole host of things, how countries trade, the geopolitics, all kinds of things we would have gone through. And in the specific area that I'm in, which is the policy, helping governments to choose the policy that will bring out the best out of the trade that they do. Okay. That's basically it.
Great. So then going into the area of leadership, tell us a little about, because I do a little bit of it, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. A lot of people are intimidated, but we lead a lot of things. We actually lead ourselves. So that's the greatest start. As children, sometimes we make decisions, we make choices, and then there's consequential thinking. And sometimes we don't realize that out of the actions that we take, we actually are making decisions for down the road. What does a leader do? A leader does the same thing. He makes decisions for down the road. And of course, if he's a salesman, he want to make decisions that are going to cause him to get less sales for the next month. He's going to make decisions that are going to cause him. So you think about the future, which is why you call it consequential thinking.
Okay, lovely.
But that's not necessarily defining leadership in its broad context, though. There are many other elements to leaders, as in your attitude, the skills you bring to the table, the knowledge that you have, the resources that you use, and how you use those resources to advance the entity, the organization that you're in. Okay.
So why did you decide to get into this field? Because there's a lot, I know you're very talented, you're very gifted. Why did you get into this field specifically?
Well, leadership for me, I think I was doing a presentation just a couple of weeks ago, and I took my audience back to my 16-year-old self, being thrust into leadership from as early, at the same Comerian school, as a prefect. And it was actually a job that I didn't deserve, or so many thought, I should put it that way. Okay. Perception. And I went in and I reveled in the opportunity to lead. We had younger students who needed someone to talk to. I became a coach, and I realized I like this thing. And then thrust into leadership again. I moved from being a senior economist to the position of executive director at the Barbados Chamber of Commerce in 2010, the first female to lead that organization. That was new for me because I was now leading people and leading a particular strategy that was put in place. That one was phenomenal because I had persons on the board who, if I needed to have an ear, they would assist me. There were scenarios where they were difficult and you had to make quick decisions. So I think I had a crash course in leadership by going into that space. And what it did, it helped me to appreciate why decisions are made. It helped me to understand the boardroom because automatically you were in the boardroom. And I had a better appreciation for why leaders make the decisions that they make. And I also had good people who were able to coach me. Hence why I like coaching now, because I know there's real value in mentorship and coaching.
There we go.
Yes.
One of the things that I hear say about leadership is getting the best out of people and showing them their potential so that they can achieve their potential.
That's right.
I've done some work with insurance companies, a couple of banks, and then teams. So sports teams and some other smaller groups. One of the things that I really like is seeing the process to transformation, where they say, this is what we've been doing, this is how we've been performing in the role of leaders, and this is the difference that we've made coming on to the end of the process, or a year or two later. From time to time, I have some of my clients in as guests, and one of the things that stands out in my mind is how they're better able to organize themselves and how much more they feel connected to their vision or their sense of their vision. And one of the things I would like to know from you, what are some of your success stories in terms of your own leadership experiences?
Well, I can take you to Friday. I wrapped up with a coaching client. We would have had 10 sessions. And on the 10th session, so you know, this is the end, you're just sending your final invoice, etc. But the client said they see a significant change because we also looked at where have they come over the last, it was probably about 8 months. Where have they come? And they indicated how change has taken place in both their personal and professional life. But that wasn't the end. They said they want to rehire me to go on so that every month I would become an accountability partner. So I was very pleased about that. Other things, if I were to go to an institute, from an institutional perspective, I've seen entities use strategies and tools that we've put in place or that I've suggested under Lisa Gale Consulting, and it has enhanced their better use of resources. And their staff have seen increase in morale through not just the training, but the strategy, the particular consulting that we've done. So I'm really pleased with some of the outcomes as a result of intervention. It doesn't always work easy, which is one of the things I always like to tell people. Sometimes it takes longer for the entity to see change, because not that everybody has to buy in, but a larger mass of persons have to buy in so that they can catch the vision and do as they should.
Right. So what are some of the major or common issues that you address or that would be addressed in the conversation of leadership?
Yes.
And I guess on the back end of that, we'll also think about coaching. But let's start with leadership.
So the reason why I said we lead ourselves is because ultimately the bigger decision has to do with how you fix you. Some of it is time management, some of it is assertiveness, some of it is self-awareness, which falls under the same emotional intelligence that we would have studied. But a lot of times I help companies and their individual persons to see for themselves how they can more or less bring about change, starting with themselves. So the leading yourself first. The other one is time management, and then using I did this one up to yesterday. So there's self based on your main relationships. So there's self, there's your spouse, there's your child, then there's your work, it could be gym or whatever you're interested in. And then out of work, most of the time we put more of our work together. We spend more time in our work. But how do you take this 6-prong, because it's not 4 things, it is 6 things. How do you take this 6-prong approach and apportion some time to each of them so that you're giving the best out of yourself to something? When you lead yourself and you give of yourself, then these things start to work better. And then you ask yourself, I'm seeing an improvement in all of these. So I'm just thinking that when we put attention to the things that matter, then we start to see better results. I hope I've answered that question to some extent.
Yeah. Leadership is about being my best self
Yes.
aligning with my vision for who I see myself as,
Yes.
and then being able to direct my resources, in alignment with my vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could I then ask you a question in relation to how have you seen leadership in your sphere of influence?
Right. I came from a background where I worked with a student organization. I was a coordinator of teachers
Yes.
across the country. And then I did some training, was working in the hospitality industry, and then got aligned with Tony Olton, which I've spoken to previously. And I've been able to work with organizations and individuals alike.
Yes.
One of the most important things for me when it comes to leadership is having the person know what is where they are now, where they would like to be, and then what are the things that are blocking them from getting there. And I guess that's also in line with coaching as well.
Yes, because in coaching, what we do, we look at, your strengths, your weaknesses, where do you want to get, and then what is your personal vision or your mission for yourself, and then what are you doing to get there. And that really helps them. I think that opens the eyes up, because they then see all of these things add up. There's not any outlier out there. All of these things are impacting on what I'm doing and why am I getting the results I'm getting.
But the thing about leadership is about influencing others. And even if it is personal leadership, you have to know how to motivate yourself, and you need to know what direction you're going in. So I focus a lot on where does the person or the organization want to go? What are the resources that will take them there? And how can they be more efficient in how they manage these resources to get towards that vision of themselves? And how do they use these resources to take them and their group towards the goal, towards their mission, towards their vision?
One of the things that I have seen, especially with the new knowledge that we have garnered through EQ Barbados, there's a big, and I did the presentation only a month ago when we had the conference on the paradox of leadership. My presentation was on the emotional intelligent leader. So my question to you then would be, and yes, I kind of know the answer, but I want to hear it from you. What's the relationship between emotional intelligence and leadership?
All right. So as a leader, you are managing, you have to be in control of you. And you also have to, because you're working with other people, and then you have to know how to regulate, how to manage yourself in different situations so that you are on target or in alignment with your goals.
Yes.
Emotional intelligence is a conversation about how do I manage my emotions? How do I keep my emotions in check so that I am functioning optimally, and then so that I am influencing others to get the best out of the relationship, mutually beneficial goals out of the relationship.
So could I prod you more? Are you talking about pretending for a good result?
No, you don't pretend. You are actually being your best self and trying to generate the best outcomes, I guess, based on your judgment of the situation, the optimal outcomes, so that both parties benefit and it's win-win. Yeah.
There's not always win-win in every situation, but
if you're going to go on a journey, you want to know that there is no one party, that both parties are getting something out of it.
Yes.
Both parties feel like they're getting something out of it. So even if both parties don't feel like they're getting the same thing, they need to know that they're getting their needs fulfilled or their desires fulfilled.
Or that there is the appearance of it or the attempt to.
Yes.
Because in some instances, compromise isn't always easy for both parties. So sometimes as an emotional intelligent leader, you have to compromise a bit more so that that person gets more of what they want. But over time, they would recognize the greater good or the big picture.
Yeah, because the thing is, if we're managing relationships, you're working with different types of people.
Yes.
And there are some people who need more attention, who feel like they need more resources. So how can you focus on yourself a little less, although your needs are being met? How will you focus on yourself a little less so that they get what they want and they feel satisfied?
Very, very good. It's been a lovely journey, though, because learning about emotional intelligence, you actually learn a bit more about yourself, because one of my fascinating growth points was understanding the mind, the difference between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, and which one tires, which one sleeps. which one retains information, which one, so that to me was a big eye-opener.
Yes.
And it also helped me even in my processing. What do I allow into my mind? What do I push off, etc. I think that was not the biggest learning point, because the biggest learning point for me was when we did the life chart. All of those above the lines and below the lines. I think that opened my eyes, because life, based on our decision making, is a sum total of our choices, our actions, our attitudes, all those type things.
So that exercise she's speaking of there's a chart where we looked at the positive experience in life and the negative experiences in life, and how persons were analyzing or assessing the positive experiences versus the negative experiences.
Not really. We started kind of, yes. So you're not wrong. But we started from where we were born to where we ended, and we highlighted all of the big moments in our life, both positive and negative. And then from that, you actually see your life chart. I think that for me, because people saw it from different perspectives. So for me, it was everything before my eyes, and that was a wonder for me, because you are impacted even by the negative experiences, and and the lesson that you would have learned from these. That lesson is important. So negative experiences aren't always bad. Sometimes they teach you something out of it. So to me, that was like,
what I liked about it was, of course, I've done emotional intelligence and I do training with clients in emotional intelligence, but being more deliberate and intentional about what you want to get out of your relationships, and of course, managing yourself better, managing your emotions better. There's nothing like knowing what you want, what you want to get out of a situation, and being able to not manipulate, because people associate manipulate as a negative word.
And opportunistic as a negative word.
But how do you go about more intentionally to manage yourself and the interaction with the other person in accordance with what you want, with your goals, with your mission, etc. That was really, really good, powerful for me.
Growth. That's leadership of self.
So Lisa, where do you see yourself? And Lisa Gale and LEG development, where do you see yourself in the next 2, 5, 10 years?
Well, you're putting me on the spot, but we do have a vision, and the vision is to bring clarity to organizations. And one of the things that we ensure that we do after every assignment, we do a review to see if we have, especially based on the feedback we receive. Feedback is critical. Feedback is actually the breakfast of champions.
Yes. You learned that in Barbados.
No, I knew that before, but it was reinforced. But yes, the importance of feedback. Where do I want to see Lisa Gale? The company is now a regional company, so I want us to continue to have that regional footprint. We're actually working through a consultancy right now. We haven't signed on the dotted line, but that has implications for the next 5 years. And I see Lisa Gale Consulting and LEG Development Services, both servicing, yes, different clients, but impacting the region in the space of international trade, emotional intelligence, and training and development across the spectrum for which we have the competence. I think a lot more people need to better understand their life skill, or to develop life skills. And I think leadership is a very critical platform on which they can do such. So that's where I see LEG developing. And I have a big passion for youth development, so that's also in there. And we've started on that plank, so we want to continue. That one is not the business arm, though. That one is more the non-governmental arm, and that we just really want to impact young lives. I think our youth need to better be able to add value to the society for which we're going to be old people and they're going to be in. So we want to give them the right tools so that they can also make a better world, because we borrow the earth from our foreparents so that we lend it to our youth.
As we wrap up, there's one final thing I want to ask you about. You are in the corporate setting, the corporate world. Stress is a very, very significant issue. And stress is one of the things that I specialize in, stress management protocol and program. What space or what room do you see in the corporate setting for stress management? Persons have deadlines, they have family, balancing the two, work-life balance. How do you see the stress management aspect coming in?
Well, it's crucial. But it is not. I don't think people value the impact that stress is having on lifestyle. And I myself, being in full disclosure, in 2017 suffered from a mild stroke, a TIA, transient ischemic attack, and that was truly a real life changer for me. But I'm a part of the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados, and we do see a lot of clients who forget that, I must say. Some people are not even aware that they can prevent heart disease. Actually, 80% of heart disease, inclusive of, or should I say 80% of vascular diseases, which is stress-related, can be preventable, 80%. And a lot of it is lifestyle. And understanding stress management is a very key part of that.
Right.
So what you have to do for sure, I'd encourage you to partner with the practitioners in the space so that they can use some of your services to impact and to just guide some people. I must say, though, we are not as receptive to change from early. Sometimes we wait until something bad happens and then we wake up. So you really have to do a lot more education and sharing with people. I must say the sedentary lifestyle and the very poor lifestyle choices in terms of the eating habits, etc., they influence a lot so that then when stress comes, the big test is failed and it's either manifesting itself in other things. But I know within my family, I have to be far more careful because we do have a history of heart disease and heart deaths as a result of, or deaths as a result of not having healthy heart. So that's a very important subject for me. And I think more people need to understand stress management. And it really is being able to juggle, being able to say no, being able to vent when you need to vent, find someone to talk to, walk, do some exercising, and use all of the possible mechanisms that you need to so that you can impact your own life and have a better and a more healthy lifestyle as a result of managing the stress that is around you.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure having you.
Yes,
and really enjoy these short moments.
Yes.
I want to encourage you all to check out Lisa Gale Consulting and LEG Development Services. And of course, you can always reach out to me here at Insight Consulting. You can call us at 247, that's 247-6899, or you can also reach us at Insight Consulting Barbados on Facebook, or email us insightconsultingbb@gmail.com. And Lisa, how do we reach you?
You can reach me on the website, www.lisagaleconsulting.com, or via email, lisa@lisagaleconsulting, and Lisa Gale is Gale, consulting.com, or 231-4226. That's my cell number.
All right. So yeah, you can reach out to us. We are always available to you, just a phone call or a click away. Have a wonderful day and see you next time.